Okay, so here it is. It's arrived, the S-Works SL8 tarmac in size 52. This is the ready to paint color. It's not really color, it's just kind of raw carbon, but quite a smooth satiny effect. It's not like the raw carbon on the Ostro. And of course, I weighed it. It comes in at 692 grams. That's with just the two derailleur hangers on there, which I'm reliably informed are 12 and 10 grams respectively. So that's 670 grams for the frame set, which is quite astonishing, really. I mean, not so long ago that would have been considered an almost unachievable figure for any bike, be it climbing or whatever. And the fact that they've managed to make an aero bike for that weight, okay, aero, we'll come back to that in a moment, but it's, I think Specialized are really on top of their game here in terms of what you can do with carbon and the sort of things, the frames you can create. I don't think anyone's really doing it any better, and that's quite something to have achieved that. The fork is 345 grams as you see it here, uncut. I guess cut is going to be something like 325, lose 20 grams or so. So again, very light. That's 175 grams lighter than the Ostro V2 fork, by the way, I'm just saying. And if you compare it to this Ostro fork, it's not quite as deep, but it's not a million miles away. So it's not a skinny fork by any means. So yeah, this basically will build up to a bike weighing 5.7 kilos quite easily, with a little bit of Deremo and tuning. 5.5 could be doable. And of course, yeah, weight isn't everything. I know a lot of people have kind of criticized my decision to turn away from the Ostro V2, because it's only a couple of hundred grams. It's actually 450 grams lighter, just the frame set, which is nearly half a kilo, which is really not insignificant. But again, it depends very much on what you want from the bike, and I always head for the hills. Here in Mallorca, we have hills and mountains in the west, and we have flats to the east. I very rarely go to the east unless I'm dragged there by a group ride or something. I just really like riding in the mountains. The fact that you can go up and have the effort going up, get to the summit, feel the achievement of getting to the summit, come down, swooping, winding, fast bends coming down. For me, that's what it's all about. So, but if you live in a flat country, or you just like riding fast on the flat, then you want to go as aero as possible, and you don't care about the weight. Weight really isn't an issue on the flat. So go full aero. But me, I like hills, I like climbing, I like to feel the reactivity of the bike. So yeah, weight is an issue for me, and I just couldn't feel comfortable really knowing I'd given away half a kilo for the Ostro, no matter how aero it is. And in terms of talking about aero, so if you look at these two bikes, to my untrained eye, I would say that this SL8 is not as aero as this Ostro V1. It's just the tubes aren't as deep, the down tube is rounded, not so much teardrop, the rear is quite skinny. I mean, the Ostro, I've always thought that the Ostro is quite an aero bike. You have a very nice blending here, good interfaces here. I mean, I think it's quite an aero bike, and I think the V2 is more aero. So the claims that Specialized put out for the SL8 about gaining 16 seconds, whatever, turn out that it's really just down to the handlebar mostly. The new handlebar that was a little bit more aero, a bit deeper. So that's pretty much where the gains come from. So I don't really expect anything fantastic from this frame aero wise. I think it shouldn't be too far off the Ostro. But yeah, I think they've definitely given something away on the aero side to achieve this weight. So again, you have to just balance it. It's a game of pros and cons really. Because weight, yeah, if you look at any sport or activity where you are fighting against gravity, such as, let's say, mountaineering, they take cutlery and things that have been drilled, the titanium knife and fork that's drilled and super light, because they're constantly going up against gravity. And in aerospace, they spend millions trying to skim grams, kilos off airplanes using composites and different materials, because again, a light plane is an efficient plane. So it's just that simple fact that when you're trying to raise a mass against gravity, you want that mass to be as light as possible, and that's what you do when you climb a bike up a hill. But what's interesting is that this SL8 is now so close to the Athos in weight that, I mean, really there's not much point in buying an Athos anymore if you can get the SL8 for more or less the same weight. So in effect, Specialized, who used to have kind of 3 bikes in their lineup, really realistically only have one now. It's the SL8. So yeah, I guess that's the decision they've made. This bike, in theory, does it all. Let's see. And you know, Specialized is a very big bicycle company that's got a lot of money behind it and is doing a lot of R&D. And I don't mean they would have wasted their time in trying to go down this road. They've obviously done it for a reason. They've decided to make this bike as light as they can, and maybe they have given away a little bit of aero, but they seem to have decided that's the best road to go down. Whether that's just because they're trying to meet customer expectations or demand, or because they genuinely think it's a good idea, I don't know. I couldn't say for sure. So I now need to get this built up. Shouldn't take too long. Get it out on the road. It'll have the same wheels, same everything pretty much as this bike, and let's see how it stacks up. Does it react as well? Does it handle as well? What's the comfort like? Different speeds on the flat, going uphill, downhill, all the rest of it. I'll be checking it all out and trying to make a direct comparison as possible to the Ostro V1.